Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I've got a few videos for you today. The first one is with Judge Shelton from Texas, and then I've got a couple from Judge Hayward in Georgia. I've got one with Judge Braley in Michigan, and then the last one with Judge Chisholm in Michigan. So I'll let you guys watch.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
may I ask what my time restraint is? A half an hour or 45 minutes?
Your time limit, each side, I usually try to give each side about 30 minutes for direct and cross. I'll try to, maybe I can shortcut this just a little bit too. Here we go. Found your case. All right. So are you the movant, Ms. Glasgow?
We are.
All right. Can you, and it looks like that this is, an older case. Is this some modification or has it been going on?
It's a modification, Your Honor.
Can you tell me what the underlying order in your case, what were the terms?
So the parties are joint managing the servers. Ms. Bouchong is the conservator with the right to designate in the underlying order. And today we're here asking for the court to change that.
Okay. And if and I haven't made up my mind, obviously, but if that does happen, what kind of access would she have to the children?
We're asking for her to have one child, her name's Alice. We're asking for her to have a standard possession order for parties that live over 100 miles from each other, as the parties live in separate states at this point in time.
Okay. And where does your client live?
My client lives in Washington State with the child.
Okay. And then Ms. Bushong, you live here locally?
I just recently moved to Starr County, so Rio Grande City, Texas. It's about 7 hours from Jefferson County.
Okay. And okay, so if she would get, so if you're asking for her to get the over 100 miles standard possession order, then she would get 42 days in the summer?
Correct. So for Washington County, actually, the kiddos don't go back to school until mid-September, so that would still be possible for Ms. Bouchon.
Okay. All right. So okay, and right now the children reside with her in.
No, right now the child subject of the suit resides with Dad, Austin Miller, and has done so for the past 9 months.
Okay. All right. So do you want to Ms. Bushong, go ahead and let me hear from Mr. Miller. His attorney will question him, and let me and then when they finish, I would like to hear from you to hear your side of it. This is a temporary hearing, so this is nothing, long term.
Right.
This is only until our next hearing. If you don't mind, Ms. Glasgow, do you mind if I ask Ms. Bushong? He says the child has been with him for 9 months. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, but not, it's not how it was supposed to be.
Well, okay. Bear with me. Let me just ask her a few questions because we're going to be limited on time. So
Okay.
how did the child end up living with him?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Okay. In September, in August, Austin had asked me if I wanted to let Alice go up there because I was going through a difficult time in my marriage. And I had moved in with my mom temporarily. And she was supposed to return in February of this year. And after numerous attempts of getting him to bring her back to me, I was served with papers saying that he wanted to have a modification done to the order. So
Okay. And so and how old is Alice?
she just turned 6 yesterday.
6. Okay. So I'm guessing she probably did kindergarten up there in Washington.
Yes.
Okay. And did you go up there and see her very often, or were you able to? It's a
I
long
wasn't
way.
for a while I wasn't able to, but I did try and schedule a visit a little while ago, and Austin told me that he did not feel comfortable with the visit. So
All right. Well, I don't want the child to be away from either parent, so, all right. Ms. Glasgow, if you want to go ahead and question your client, please.
Okay, so I'll kind of just fast track it. I had a few exhibits, but I understand we're time limited, so I'm gonna go for testimony. Um,
Okay, good.
Mr. Miller, could you please state your name for the record?
Austin Miller.
Okay, and you are the father of the child subject to this suit, Alice Marie Miller. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we heard Alice's birthday was yesterday. What can you tell me what year she was born?
2019.
Okay. And today you're here asking for the court to designate you as the conservator to decide where she lives. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And we've heard from Miss Bouchon that Alice came to live with you around August. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And so originally around February, I guess you guys once she got back on her feet, she was supposed to return. Is that correct?
She was, yes.
Okay, and why did she not return to Miss Bouchon?
Well, it had seemed as though she had never actually changed anything by the time she was asking for her to come back. She was still in the same position. And then it also felt as though it was going to be a hindrance to Alice's stability at the time.
Okay, and by not changing anything, what situation are we speaking of?
Living with her mother unemployed.
Okay, and when you say living with her mother unemployed, is that currently where Miss Bouchon resides?
No, she now resides with her husband in Rio Grande.
Okay, is that the husband that Miss Bouchon just spoke of?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and do you have some concerns with who she currently lives with, her husband?
I do.
Can you tell me about those concerns?
I know that he was arrested for an obscenity charge, as well as has a past charge of across the border.
Okay, let's discuss that obscenity charge. When was this arrest?
Oh, I could not tell you the exact date. I know it was, I believe, while Alice was still down there before she had came to me, so it was before August.
Okay, so around August of 2024?
Or sometime before, yes.
Okay, and I hate to put you in a very sensitive spot, but can you tell the court about this obscenity charge? What exactly was he accused of?
All I know about it is that he was accused of being in a Walmart parking lot in
Okay,
Wisconsin.
and do you have some concerns with your child being around that type of person?
I do. I don't think it's appropriate for such a person to be around a child in general, especially left alone with one, especially if it's not his.
And to your knowledge, is he still going through that case?
I believe so, but I don't have much knowledge on his current standing.
Okay. Let's just talk a little bit. You pointed to stability of Miss Bouchon. How many addresses in the last couple of years since you had this order are you aware of Miss Bouchon having?
3 to 4.
Okay. And do you have some concerns with that for Alice's stability's sake?
Absolutely, especially for educational reasons. Constantly moving around houses as well as schools, and also her counselor has diagnosed her with an adjustment disability or adjustment disorder that makes it hard for her to adjust to new situations suddenly.
Okay. And did you tell Miss Bouchon about this disorder?
I did.
Okay. Do you recall her response?
Yes, her response was simply that she doesn't care what the counselor says, that she's her mother.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. And
Wait, don't interrupt her, and I won't let them interrupt you when you tell your side, okay?
Okay.
okay. And currently you're asking the court to award Ms. Bouchon the right to see Alice on a standard possession order. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But are you wanting her to exercise that standard possession order outside of her husband?
Yes, that is what I'm hoping for.
Okay. Can you tell me how Alice is currently doing in school?
She's doing outstanding. She has received multiple awards while just in kindergarten, has recently graduated from kindergarten, and is very much so looking forward to her first grade.
Okay. And is Alice involved in any extracurriculars there?
She is. She's involved in gymnastics and has moved up to level 2 is on the verge of moving up to level 3, as well as also her routine counseling that we go to every Friday.
Okay. All right. And we had a little we heard a little bit about visitation. How many times has mom come to see Alice since August?
She has not come up to see Alice once so far.
Okay. Has there been any attempts by mom to come see Alice?
We had planned out on multiple occasions, I believe one being Thanksgiving, the other being Christmas, and then another for Valentine's Day, where she had told Alice that she was going to try to come up and visit and then never did. And then on the last time, she wanted to come up for a weekend. However, we were kind of in the midst of possibly finding out when the court date was around that time. And it was just for a quick weekend visit that felt like a flight risk. And my attorney advised me to not allow that meeting.
Okay. And by your attorney, you mean Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Okay. And so you felt like she was just coming right before the court to get Alice?
It's what it felt like, yes.
Okay. And prior to those other visits, prior to those other setups, what was the agreement?
We had actually offered her housing while she was here, and that we would pick her up from the airport. She could stay with some of Jessica's family. We, let them use a car and, tell them about all the best places to go to spend time. And then, we were we were going to house her for about a week while she was here.
Okay. And what were the reasons why those plans fell through?
The plans were made, but Julia had never bought the tickets and just never came.
Okay. And during this case, you have some pending child support, is that correct?
I do.
And at first you continued to pay your child support, correct?
I did for about 2 payments, I believe, after we had received Alice.
Okay. And you stopped paying your child support. Is there a reason for that?
It just became a bit difficult to both provide for my daughter and continue to pay child support at the same time.
Okay, and has been a point where you've asked Miss Bouchon to return any of the support to help you out with Alice?
We had asked for her to return what was taken in my tax return. However, no, I have not asked her for any money other than that.
Okay, did she return that tax return?
She did not.
Okay, and so to be clear, you're a little behind on child support because you are supporting Alice.
Yes.
So to be clear, to clarify for the court, Alice was never supposed to return until after being with you for 6 months anyway. Is that correct? Mr. Miller, are you still there?
Ms. Glasgow, I know this is a little irregular, but just in the interest of time, do you mind if I hear a little bit from Ms. Bushong?
No, not at all, Your Honor.
Ms. Bushong, I'm going to let him come back and testify some more, but can you tell me a little bit more about your story? And all right, so you're married now?
I am married, yes.
And he got in trouble for something.
Yes, he
And
did.
are y'all still together?
We are together. The time that Alice was up in Washington, me and him were kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do because we were going through trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
So, I thought that it would be best for Alice to go up there because she is very emotionally intelligent, and I didn't want her to strain at all or, be involved or be in any of that stress. So during that time, but we did decide that we were going to continue our marriage, and we actually got a house here in Rio. And we are doing very well. We've worked through everything, and we became better for each other, and we've grown a lot. We decided to leave our past in the past. So, but yeah, we're doing good now, and so I would like to address that, the obscenity charge, and say that I know that he's not a threat to my children. He's a great father, and he is a provider. I mean, he was there for Alice when Austin wasn't able to. So, I know for a fact that he is not a threat to my children. Also, they were speaking about the counselor stating that she had an adjustment disorder. My response was not that I didn't care. That was to a different situation. That response that he said that I gave was during a situation. Austin's wife had referred to herself as mommy to Alice and would write, like from mommy to Alice on her gifts. And I didn't really agree with that. It hurt me a little bit. So I attempted setting boundaries and I said, for her to call you Mama Jess is okay, but for her to call you mommy is much more personal, and I feel like that should be kept between the mother and the child. So I did attempt to set those boundaries, and he basically said that his counselor or her counselor said that giving and taking away titles is can affect the child or something along those lines. And after I attempted to set those boundaries was things like weren't really the same after that. Um, Austin, soon after that, Austin started recording every phone call, and also about 2 months ago, he stopped all FaceTime. Yesterday was the first time that I got to FaceTime my daughter in 2 months. And that was on her birthday. I thank God for that. But also the visitation, the trips to Washington are very expensive. And when I was going to go up there, I wanted to have alone time with my child. I didn't want to stay at their family's house or their house. I feel, I guess, like uncomfortable. I would be uncomfortable. And, I wanted to spend time with my child and, be alone. So just the trip up there was very, very expensive, a couple of $1,000s. And when I was able to go visit, I reached out to Austin and I tried scheduling something. And, he said that he was advised by his lawyer that, you know, um, he didn't agree with it. So that didn't happen. But he also has not brought her to Texas at all to see any of her family here. She is very well rooted here in Texas, has a lot of family that loves and cares about her very much.
How did
So
how did you how did you decide to move to Starr County?
my husband's dad built a house here, and he passed it down to us.
Okay.
Yep.
And and what about your family? Where do they all live?
In Jefferson County, all of the family, Austin's family and my family live in Jefferson County, which
Okay.
is about 7 hours from me.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And so tell me, so what is your husband's name?
His name is Gilberto.
And what happened with I guess it was an indecency charge or something.
Yes.
What happened with that charge?
He had finished his court. He's on probation at the moment.
All right, and does and do you know anything about the terms of probation? Does
It's I
who
know
he
that
can be
it's
with or anything like that?
no, there are no restrictions.
Like that? Okay.
No, sir.
And so how did you meet him?
I actually met him on a dating app a few years
Okay.
ago.
All
Yeah.
right. And so he lived up here.
He was actually at the time we met, he was living in Sulphur, Louisiana for work.
Okay.
Um, and then all these years has passed and now we're living here in Rio.
And what kind of work does he do?
He's an iron worker. He works in industrial construction.
And he's working down there in the valley.
Yes, at the moment, he's actually in Georgia. He works in Georgia, and
Okay.
his job allows for me to be a stay-at-home mom, so I'm here with my children all day. Or
All
my
right. And
child.
how many other children do you have other than Alice?
I have one child.
Okay. Well, yeah, I thought you said, all right.
One other child, sorry.
All right. And how old is that other child?
She'll be 2 in September.
Okay. And all right. And so I know you're a stay-at-home mom, and that's okay. So what kind of work did you do in the past?
In the past, I worked mostly in a hotel, or I've worked for myself doing like grocery delivery or food delivery or
Okay.
things like that, where I
Okay.
can make my own hours.
Okay. Um, all right. And is it uh
Gilberto?
Gilberto gonna be
Yes.
in Georgia?
In Georgia, I believe the project is about a year long, but so he works for so long and then he is able to come back
Okay.
and stay for,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you think that I need to know about from your
Um,
side?
I, Off the top of my head, it's just, like she was supposed to come back in February. And then I had made multiple attempts trying to get him to come up with a date for her to come back, and that never happened. And then eventually I was served with papers. On the papers, it said that she had been with him for more than 6 months, and that is not true. The papers were filed in January, and that would have been 4 months, and then February, 5 months. I don't know if that is really relevant, but um,
Okay.
also, um, the uh, stability side of things, I know he brought that up. Um, Alice, we do have stability here. We've created that. So I have no concerns for stability moving forward. Um, and whenever me and my husband were going through that tough time, I made the decision as her mother to put her with her father where she could have that stability until we figured out what we were going to do. So, other than that, um, I do have some concerns with Austin's wife. Um, but it's not so much. It's really just that she won't let Alice speak for herself. The phone calls that me and Alice have are closely monitored, and I feel like I can't have a natural conversation with my daughter.
Okay.
And also I feel like Austin's wife kind of guides Alice and kind of tells her what to say, which I understand that she's a child, but it is a little bit distracting, and I just don't really understand it. So, um,
Okay. Um, so I understand and that you feel like he might have kind of betrayed your trust. But
yes.
other than that, and other than some of the problems that you've had with his wife, do you think other than that, is he a pretty good dad?
He's a good dad, yes, he is. I will give him that. There was up until he met his wife now, it was very hit or miss with him. He um kind of was stuck in that way of like doing his own thing, and
Mm-hmm.
mm, um it was hard to get him to help with Alice. Um there were multiple times where I had asked for help and he said that he wasn't able to. He was watching his finances. And so and there was also um we had a little thing going where I would have her for 2 weeks and then he would have her for 2 weeks. That was like a thing we had before we went to court. And whenever it was his 2 weeks, she stayed with her his grandparents um, during that time, and he would just go and see her, during those 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, like I said, it was very hit or miss until he met his current wife. After that, um, he started wanting to have more time with her, which I allowed because he hadn't really been consistent in her life before, and I never denied any relationship or anything like that with them. So he was requesting more time, and I was okay with that. and since then he's been trying to, I guess, have the primary where he can, designate residency. And also the child support is another concern. He doesn't, he's not consistent with it. He'll let it get, like build up a little bit before he pays. And I believe it was set to is scheduled for like once a month or something like that. So it's also a little hit or miss there. But other than that, he is a good dad, and I do appreciate him for, growing and wanting to be a part of Alice's life. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let me get Ms. Glasgow to finish questioning Mr. Miller. So did you have any other questions, Ms. Glasgow?
Can I cross-examine her
Of
since
course,
okay?
of course.
Miss Bouchon, I know you spoke of Austin's wife, but at one point you would have called her a friend. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so you guys had a super personal relationship before this filing.
We did, yes.
Okay, and it wasn't until after this filing that the concerns popped up.
The concerns, yes, it was after, because whenever after I set boundaries with her is when they started acting different towards me. So that is when the issues really I started noticing a change
Okay,
in behavior from yes.
okay, and did Alice begin calling Jessica mommy, or did Jessica lead, to your knowledge, her to
To my
call?
knowledge, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay,
I'm not there.
did they ever share with you that Alice called her mommy first? Did they ever share that with you?
I believe they did, but I I didn't believe it, honestly.
Hey,
Okay.
Julia, is that how you pronounce your first name, Julia?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Listen, I've I've been doing this a while, and it's not unusual for children just on their own just to refer to a step parent as a mommy or daddy, or and maybe
Right.
today she might even refer to Gilberto as daddy. It's just something kids do. And my daughter, I adopted her later, but when she was my stepdaughter, she kind of did the same thing.
Okay.
That's not unusual, and I promise you, it's there. In a lot of the cases I hear, no one really prompts them to do that.
Okay.
So no,
Yeah,
so that's not a betrayal there's no betrayal there by the child of your importance. You're always going to be your mommy, and that's all there is
oh
to it.
yeah. Yes, I
All right.
know. Yes.
Okay. So go ahead, Miss Glasgow.
Okay. And you said that you have gained some stability now, is that correct?
That is correct.
So prior to you moving to Stark County, how many addresses had you had since this order?
I lived in Sulphur for a year. I had an apartment in Nederland for a year. Um, Before that, I lived with my father. And let's see. And then temporarily moved with my mom, for about 6 months.
Okay.
So,
Have you
yeah.
also lived with your sister as well
My
in
sister,
that time?
yes. Yes.
Okay. So in that time period since the last order, about 4 to 5 residences, is that correct?
No, that is not correct. No.
Okay.
That was throughout the years. Like, or you say, okay, so since the last court hearing is what you're saying, right?
Since this last order.
Since the last order, okay. So Sulphur, and then with my mom.
Okay. So
Sulphur for a year, and then I moved with my mother temporarily.
okay. And now your current residence, is that correct?
Yes, that is
So
correct.
about 3 residences.
Yes, but this is my permanent housing situation. So
Understood. So regarding Alice's schooling,
mhm.
um, she doesn't really have any family aside from yourself there and Riley in Stark County. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Myself, my husband, my husband's family, which also she's very well loved by them as well, and has connections with them as well. Um,
Okay. And
yes.
so I know you said, I'm trying to remember all things. I know you said that you had some, you didn't have any concerns, or you didn't have any concerns with your husband and his obscenity charge.
Not regarding my children. I know that, like I said, I believe and I trust my husband. He is not a threat to my children. So obviously this happened, it was I think a year and a half ago. And since then we have worked through that. It was a mistake. He had a moment of weakness. We worked through it. He learned from that mistake. He did his, he's doing his part. So, but
Okay.
yes, regarding that, I do not believe he's a threat to my children.
Okay. I don't want to object, but if we could limit the narrative, that would be amazing. Okay.
The narrative, I'm sorry, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
Just
In
try
other
to
words,
stick to
just
the
kind
try
of,
to stick to the question.
yeah, just
Okay, yeah,
answer questions short and sweet, but I'll give
yes,
you a chance to, if you want to expand on it later, okay? But
okay.
we do need to step it up just a little,
Okay.
okay?
Really quickly though, but that charge did occur. I mean, the action did occur in a Walmart parking lot. Is that correct?
That is
So
correct.
I
And
didn't
so
understand that.
that
I
that
didn't understand
action,
your question.
the crime did occur in a Walmart parking lot. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so there could have been other children around at that point. Is that correct?
It was the middle of the night, so I don't believe so.
Okay. I'm going to move on from this question. I'm going to pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Julia, did you want to add anything else to what you've told me so far or expand on any of your answers?
Um, I can't really think of anything. I mean, I would just I'm not really, I don't really have anything else.
Okay.
So I don't know if you have any more questions for me or
No, you were very complete. Thank you.
okay.
All right. And so, Ms. Glasgow, did you, we kind of cut Mr. Miller short, or the bandwidth did, I suppose. Do you have
Oh,
any other questions for him?
Mr. Miller, just, I guess, two more questions.
Yes.
Uh, or maybe I covered them. We already spoke about gymnastics. Is that correct?
Yes, we did.
And we spoke about. Okay, I think I just wanted to say one more thing. Mr. Miller, regarding your child support, prior to this order, I'm sorry, prior to you having Alice, how did you pay your child support?
I had, so for when child support was first put on, it had not loaded on the Attorney General website for quite some time. And so, yes, it was being charged. However, I could not see it, nor could I pay it. So all I could do was routinely check it. And throughout that process is when she was repeatedly asking me and, basically trying to say that I was neglecting it, not paying it. However, I had no access. As soon as it was posted, I paid the complete balance off all at once and then routinely made my payments until I had received Alice. And then about two payments, which would be about 2 months after that, is when I had told Julia that I can no longer keep paying it while I have her.
Okay. And currently, you don't, for some reason, there's no income withholding order in this case. Is that correct?
No, I don't believe so. I'm not 100% sure what that is.
It doesn't come out of your paycheck. Is that correct?
Yes, it doesn't come out of my paychecks.
And so if the court, I understand we're here on temporary orders, but if the court orders that you are the primary conservator for right now, would you ask the court to temporarily stay your child support obligation?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And Julia, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I mean, Alice, I mean, the situation, um, I believe it would be all right for Alice to come back. I mean, that's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Ms. Glasgow?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Look, I think you both are good parents. Don't have any concern about that. Julia, and the problem on these cases is that for whatever, whether it was kind of your intention or not, the child has resided with the dad for a while. on a temporary hearing, I hate to keep changing, changing custody back over to you, because that means that he's going to have the child for the summer. So that doesn't buy you anything. Plus, if I do make a decision to change custody, I want to make it, then when we have our final hearing, I'll make it, and then we're going to move the child one time, and it wouldn't be move the child to you. Then if I decided in favor of the dad, I'd have to move the child back to the dad. The child just needs to land somewhere for a while. But again, I'm not saying I won't make a change, but I'm not going to make that change at this time. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and Austin, I'm going to stop your child support. I'm not going to set any child support for Julia at this time, but if this continues on in this way, I will, because she's going to have the child this summer. So Julia, you need to work with Austin and figure out, about and you have to go get the child. I'm sorry, and you got to bring the child back to him. And your husband, he's probably a nice guy, and you never know what you're going to see at Walmart, right? But I don't want him alone with this child. Okay, you promise me that? All right.
Yes.
Okay. And it sounds like he's going to be probably gone quite a bit in the summer. So I don't want him alone with the child, because I just don't know him very well, and I need to kind of figure out what's going on there. So dad will be the temporary primary joint managing conservator. Mom will be the joint managing conservator with expanded standard possession order over 100 miles. His child support will stop, and then your child's, and I won't start hers for the time being. Was there, Miss Glasgow, are you asking, hey, how's the child covered on insurance? Austin?
She is on state medical here in Washington because my job did not offer affordable insurance.
Okay. All right. So let's just leave that alone for the time being. And remember, this is not long term. This is until I want you guys back at least by August the 29th. And at that time, I will have a scheduling hearing, and we will decide if we will pick a day sometime after that for a final hearing. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So anyway, and Austin, I want Julia to have as much FaceTime as y'all can stand. I mean, Julia, don't go crazy, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, she's 6. I mean, I don't even though you're her mommy, and I'm sure she's going to be excited to see you. I mean,
Yes.
keep a 6-year-old a real attentive on FaceTime forever. So
Yeah.
reasonable access on the phone. And Austin, no one, I mean, you don't want her like cruising the web on, but give them some time. I mean, no one has to be interfere. No one has to be looming over the screen, looking and seeing what's going on. And so I want y'all both to have a great, relationship with this child. I wish you two just didn't live so far away, but it is what it is. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Teresa, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I do have a question. So when will Alice be able to come here with me, like for a visitation?
Well, I'm going to let you because you need to look and find out about flights and airlines and all that other stuff. But she needs
Okay.
to be back. I want her back though, but she needs to be back up there so she can start first grade with all
Right.
the kids that she went to school with in kindergarten, on time. So,
Right.
all right, we're going to play a little fast and loose with the rules, Teresa, but y'all figure it out, and then
Okay. I'll
need to look.
circulate. I'll get an order circulated, Your Honor. So hopefully we can have something to prove up here
Good.
shortly.
All right, but Julia, you got to get on today and start looking for, good prices on airlines and stuff like that. And
Yes.
because it's going to be you and a child, or, back and forth, and that'll be a hassle. Yes, sir. Austin?
Say that uh, that because currently we are at like camping. We're at the beach right now for her birthday, and so as far as to be back in town locally, to where if needed, for access to the airport, so access to Alice, it would probably be the 6th is the day that we return. So that gives her, I guess a little less than a week to skip flight.
Yeah. All right, that's not unreasonable. So
Uh,
we just you probably get a better price if we waited a week or so anyway, right, Julia?
Right.
All right, so start looking for the deals, the bargains, okay?
If possible, I know this is kind of up to your decision. Because of her adjustment disorder, we would like to request at least like a week before school starts for her to adjust to normal sleeping schedule.
That's reasonable. I mean, you got 42 days and you're early July. There's more than enough time, I think, to get the child back before, a week before mid-September school start, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll do it. I think that's okay. If y'all run into any problems, y'all just let me know and we'll come back on Zoom and we'll work out any kinks, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Was there anything else anybody needs? All right. So, all right, relief is granted and rendered, and unless there's some problems, I will see you all on August the 29th at 8:30, and then we'll start talking, kind of see how things are going and start planning long term. And I will ask you and you might be able to do it on Zoom, but I am going to ask you all to mediate before you come to trial, okay?
Yes,
Okay.
Your
All right.
All right, Brittany Tilford.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ms. Tilford. See if I can find you. All right, Ms. Tilford. Two names, Ms. Tilford, two names.
Oh, it didn't change. Sorry. 1 second.
Hold on, I got you. All right,
Oh.
so Ms. Tilford, you're before the court on case 2022 CR 06335 for battery, family violence, simple battery, family violence, simple battery to children. You don't have an attorney assigned that I can see. Do you have an attorney?
I have private counsel. I'm sorry.
Who is it?
He is an attorney that's private. I haven't booked him or paid for him yet, but I've been counseling with him over this.
Ma'am,
but
you don't have counsel, so you need to pay him. I can give you some time to get that done, but when you come back, you need to have that on board.
Okay, can I request some things from the plaintiff?
Can you request what?
Some documents from the plaintiff?
No, ma'am. Listen to me. Are you representing yourself? If so, then the state is the other side, not the plaintiff. It's criminal law. And once you make a decision about whether you're representing yourself or whether you're hiring an attorney, then we can talk about that. But first, I need to know the state of your representation.
I'll be representing myself.
Okay.
Because I don't know to what degree this matter is about, because I haven't been sent any type of anything, a summons to come to court or anything. So I'm just trying to figure out what is this matter about.
Ma'am, you're in court, so you've gotten something.
Yeah, from not the court or not the person who's accusing these charges.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, we're not doing this. So you've been summoned to court. You've been charged. You were arrested at some point, and you were charged with battery, family violence, simple battery, family violence, simple battery to children. Those may not have been the charges you were arrested on. Once they were accused in the solicitor's office, they could have changed the charges or added additional charges based on what the police officer's report or citation said. So, but that is the basis of the charges against you. Now, once you have entered a plea, you'll have the opportunity to exchange discovery with the state. If you wish to represent yourself, are you over the age of 21?
Yes.
All right. Does anybody have a Ferrata warning there?
I can send it to you, Judge.
All right. And you plan to represent yourself through the conclusion of this case?
I just want to ask some questions to see how we can solve it. That's it.
Okay.
How it can be resolved.
What do you want to ask? And please don't tell me anything about your actions at that time or anyone else's actions at that time. Ask questions procedurally, but I don't want you to give up your right to remain silent and offer information that might incriminate you.
Okay, yes, I just want to know who's bringing the complaint against me,
Okay,
and I
okay,
want
who,
to see it on paper so I can read it and go over the
all right,
documentation that's been submitted to the court, because I have none that has been submitted to the court.
okay. So, do we have a name for the complaining witness, Mr. Tipton?
Yes, Your Honor. If I may have one moment.
Mhm. And then, anything that is accessible in the clerk's office on the first floor of the building, you can come into the clerk's office and ask to see, documents related to your case.
You said first floor clerk, okay.
The first floor of the, Clayton County Judicial Building, at 9151 Care Boulevard.
Your Honor, I believe the most expeditious way of doing this would be for the state to formally read in the accusation.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. State of Georgia v. Brittany M. Tilford, received and filed November 23rd of 2022. I, Charles A. Brooks, as the prosecuting attorney for the state of Georgia and Clayton County, on behalf of the people of the state and the county, do hereby charge and accuse Brittany M. Tilford with the offense of battery, family violence, for that the accused on the 28th day of October 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did intentionally cause visible bodily harm to Talon Ware by striking him on the face with the chair, causing visible injuries. The accused and Talon Ware being parent and child in violation of OCGA 16-5-23.1 subsection F1. Count 2, the prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Brittany M. Tilford with the offense of battery, for that the accused on the 28th day of October 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did intentionally cause visible bodily harm to Talon Ware by striking him on the face with a chair, causing visible injuries in violation of OCGA 16-5-23.1. Count 3, the prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Brittany M. Tilford with the offense of simple battery, family violence, for that the accused on the 28th day of October 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did intentionally make physical contact of an insulting and provoking nature with the person of Talon Ware by striking him on the face with a chair, the accused and Talon Ware being parent and child in violation of OCGA 16-5-23 subsection F. Count 4, the prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Brittany M. Tilford with the offense of battery simple, for that the accused on the 28th day of October 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did intentionally make physical contact of an insulting and provoking nature with Talon Ware by striking him on the face with a chair in violation of OCGA 16-5-23. Count 5, the prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Brittany M. Tilford with the offense of to children in the third degree, for that the accused on the 28th day of October 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, said accused being the primary aggressor did intentionally allow Talon Ware, a child under the age of 18, to witness the commission of a family violence battery or battery in violation of OCGA 16-5-70, contrary to the laws of the state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof.
All right, Ms. Tilford, you, the reading of the accusation against you.
Okay. Is there any witnesses involved that were?
Ma'am, that's trial stuff. This is the accusation. Are you going to represent yourself, or do you need to have more time to get an attorney?
Yes, I would like to ask for continuance.
Okay. And
Thank
when you
you.
get the attorney, listen, I'm not guaranteeing you further continuances, so you need to go ahead and make sure that you secure them so that they can do an entry before the court so we can move the case forward. You understand?
Okay. Do you know what date they may be?
And Your Honor, I do have that this was previously continued from the 22nd of May. I'm not sure if that was a continuance cause for the defendant to find an attorney. Just want to
Yeah, I
bring
do
it
have that it was continued from the 22nd. So you had since May, ma'am. What's going on?
Yes, sir. I've just been dealing with a lot, trying to
Okay,
handle
then
this, and
do you need the court to appoint counsel for you?
I do not know.
Okay, then This is gonna be your last continuance, Ms. Tilford. Get
Okay.
it. If you don't want appointed counsel, then you need to get it together. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I'll give you 14 days. Ms. Val, give me a date somewhere around that time.
Can we do the 29th, Judge?
Okay, July 29th, 10 a.m. Same log on.
Okay. With the same ID?
Yes, ma'am. We'll see you
Okay.
back then.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. May I see you, please?
I'm trying to find where I get the video on here.
There you are. All right. So you're before the court for driving on a suspended or revoked license and no license. Did you wish to have an attorney represent you, or are you representing yourself?
I believe you gave me time to make a payment on my license last time I was in court, and
Okay,
I kind
that
of
would have been worked out between you and the state. Did you do that?
I did not. I've actually been handling family matters out of town.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
I don't understand how people prioritize life. The thing that could like cost you a lot of money or put you in jail, you put that to the side and you push everything else forward. What's the plan, Ms. Wilson?
I plan to get my license at least before my birthday, which is December.
No, ma'am.
The best I got.
You're not doing all of that.
No, I'm going to
Mr.
my license
Tipton,
way before then. What I'm saying is
what's
that
the recommendation?
definitely what I want to do.
Because I don't have time to wait for her birthday.
Your Honor, so the court's aware.
I definitely don't want you to wait.
Did just pick up another driving while license suspended.
Okay, Ms. Wilson.
Say again?
You picked up another driving while license suspended.
Recently? I haven't.
So, Your Honor, in November of 2024,
right,
there's a driving while license suspended in DUI, and in March of 2025, there's a driving while license suspended and giving false name. So, state would object to any and all further continuances in these matters.
Yep. I can appoint counsel for you, but we're not continuing it again, Ms. Wilson. You keep picking up cases.
Okay.
And this whole I'm doing family matters. Y'all need to start being honest with yourselves, not just, I mean, you don't have to be honest with me because I pick up the lie, but y'all need to start being honest with yourselves. You're just getting yourself deeper and deeper in. All right.
Ron, given that Ms. Wilson has 3 pending cases, the state would request that Ms. Wilson be placed on the next possible jury calendar.
Ms. Wilson, the state is asking for a jury trial. Now, I'm willing to appoint counsel for you, but you got to tell me you want it.
I actually flew here today thinking I had court, like I had to come in. I flew here from California, so
you can come in.
Trying to handle this.
Probably where are you?
I'm in Atlanta now. I flew here thinking I had to come in, but then I got the mail with the Zoom call.
What I'm saying,
I want counsel. I already said that.
If you came to court, it would probably be easier to talk to your counsel.
True.
All right, so you can make your way to court, 9151 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia. Did you just shake your head at me?
I can't make it to the court, ma'am. I'm currently watching my niece.
You flew all the way to California for court, but now you can't make it to court because now you're watching your niece. Ma'am, make it.
What I just said was I flew from California because I didn't have a Zoom meeting.
So, Mr.
from
Lynch,
my bail bonds company.
Yeah, Mr. Lynch, you and Mr. Tortorello, y'all split up. Who's gonna handle Ms. Wilson and her many cases, and see what y'all can do to help her. Ms. Wilson, put your first name, last name, phone number, and email address in chat and send it to the courtroom 304, so that they can help you. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just to make sure everyone's on notice, the state will be filing a motion to revoke bond.
Oh, yep, and motion to revoke bond. Okay. All right, ma'am. I think you need to speak with them as quickly as possible.
Now calling case number 21S00110. This is the State of Michigan versus Demetrius Brennan. Mr. Brennan, please unmute and state your name for the record. Mr. Brennan.
Demetrius Brennan.
Okay, thank you. So today is the date and time set for a show cause hearing in this matter. The last time I saw you was on March 25th of 2025, and at that time you had a balance of $1,300. I can see that your balance is still $1,300. So as I stated at the last hearing, your next court date is going to be a contempt hearing in front of Judge Washington. So,
Okay. Me personally, I don't have it. So I don't see how y'all can ask me for some money that I don't have. I don't have it. I'm too busy being a father for my son, and I barely have it for that. So as long as y'all put the contempt out and the warrants and bench warrants out, it's gonna keep happening. I don't have it right now. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't. And on top of that, I got other traffic tickets, and I just got a ticket. So it's like I got stuff piled on top of everything over and over and over again. Once I take care of some stuff in one county, here come another county, or Washtenaw County was something from 3 years prior. So it's like, I don't get it. You guys are an ongoing ticket hole that just wants the money, and I get it. I have responsibilities, just like you guys have responsibilities. You guys have a job to do, so do I. So I'm in the most respectful way possible. I'm sorry that the balance is still the same, but I've been super busy being the best stand-up dad I can be. So I don't really have much that I can say but that. You know, it's not a lie, it's the truth. But hey, you know, you take it and penalize me for it, or understand that from someone who probably has kids, who understands that it gets hard sometimes. So to keep going back and forth of the tickets, what can I do to just cancel those tickets out? Like I'm not trying to keep going back and forth and missing court dates over and over and over again. I forget court dates at that. I forgot all about this court date, but I attended 2 last month. So I'm not on the run or running from anything. It's just that I don't physically have it. If I could give you what I had in my pocket right now, you'd be like, you should have kept it. So
okay.
I don't know what to say.
Mr. Brennan, I can appreciate that you are in a difficult situation. I would point out that this was not a traffic ticket. This was initially a domestic violence case.
Well, when I joined the Zoom, it said Hillary Braley traffic offense or something like that. So see, and that's another. I'm confused there. Like, I know I have traffic offenses that I've been calling about and taking care of, and I have to take care of. It's too much for me right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's too much. It is too much. I've been going back and forth from Washtenaw County to Howell to Lenawee County courthouses for the past 10 years of my life. I am, like, honestly tired of it. And I'm not even doing anything wrong. It's from previous past offenses. This is from something with my son's mom. And we're a year into the court having us meet up every other weekend for my custody. She's not even tripping on it. I don't even see why you guys are asking me and keep asking me for this money for this. I've did my time on this. I don't understand that. I've done my time. I've got put on probation for it. I've done the whole probation. What more do y'all want from me at this point?
$1,300, Mr. Brennan.
I don't have $1,300. I don't have it. I'm sorry. I don't have it. I really don't.
Well, you'll get a notice of hearing in the mail for your next court date. That will be in front of Judge Washington. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What is your name?
I'm Jonathan Wiggins.
Okay. Your ticket is 25RO03001. This is a speeding ticket that was issued on the 9th of May at about 1:30 in the morning. You're eastbound 11 Mile in Lafayette. You were cited 35 and a 30. You can admit or deny responsibility, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed?
Not guilty.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
I do, Your
Yes.
Honor.
Okay. The officer will testify first, please.
Your Honor, on the listed date and time, I was traveling eastbound on 11 Mile approaching Lafayette when I observed a black 2021 GMC Yukon traveling westbound on 11 Mile, eastbound on 11 Mile when I activated my front moving opposite radar and got a reading at a 47 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. I also observed the vehicle moving at a very high rate of speed, and that's when I activated my radar. The radar was tested before and after my shift, and I am certified to operate radar, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Wiggins? Sir?
You ready for, you want to hear my statement is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Jonathan Wiggins. I was coming home from work, 1:30. I take that route.
Your Honor, I'd like to just to clarify something. I was traveling, I might have missaid something in my testimony, but I was traveling westbound. The vehicle was traveling eastbound on 11.
I don't know what happened, but it just cut off on me.
Yeah, but we got you back.
Okay.
So where it left off was you said you were on your way home from work?
Yeah, I get off at 1:15 and I take 11 Mile every day. And I know to do 35 miles an hour on 11 Mile Road and 45 miles an hour on Woodward. I don't have no reason to be racing up and down the street. I'm 60 years old. It was a car on the side of me when he was in front of us, facing us. And when he pulled me over, he said, "You know, you pulled me over for." I say, "No, I don't." He was like, "Well, you were speeding." And I was like, "Well, it was two cars. We were side by side on the lane. So how was I speeding?" And he said, "I visually radared you at 47." And I said, "Excuse me?" And at first he didn't have a radar. When I read my ticket, it says that he used a radar. And then he said, "Well, I'm just going to give you a ticket for 1 to 5 over." I still take this route every day. I'm tiptoeing just to get to 75 so that I can get home. It's kids racing up and down Woodward and all type of sports cars. I'm not one of those. And I didn't like him saying that I was speeding. It was just too much for me.
What's that got to do with the rate of the vehicle?
I was doing 35 miles an hour on 11 Mile Road all the way to 75. I don't know how he clocked me at 47. It was two cars. It was me and another car. We were side by side.
Okay. Why does that show that you weren't going 47?
He was in front of us.
The officer was opposite direction.
Yes, he was facing us. Yes, coming from another direction. Then he turned around and got behind us. Got behind me, and I saw him. So I'm still doing 35 miles an hour down the street. Then he pulls me over. He had the time to read the one car plate next to me, and he had a chance to read my plate. He pulled me over and said that I did 1 to 5 over, but I was really doing 47 or something. And I take this route every day. I work at the hospital. I have no need to race. I have a big Yukon truck. It is not a race car. And I don't drive it like that. I don't have any tickets for speeding or none of that. Never. I haven't had a ticket in almost 20, 30 years. So to hear this was kind of like, wow. So I'm saying I'm not guilty on the speeding charge down 11 Mile Road. I know the law on Woodward and 11 Mile Road. I do. And that's a chance. You just speeding down 11 miles, doing 100 miles an hour to get to 75 is crazy. I would never do that.
Well, and you said you haven't had a ticket in 30 years. I see a ticket in St. Clair Shores in 2020. and a ticket in Highland Park in 2023.
Speeding?
No, a ticket.
Oh.
The one in St. Clair Shores was speeding.
1 to 5 over, was it like that?
Yeah. That appears to be the case.
I'm a good driver, Your Honor, and
Yeah. I'm not saying you're a great driver.
I don't want to be
Civil
punished.
infractions are not crimes. Civil infractions are mistakes. They don't involve an intent to do evil. If somebody's just driving down the street, it's not unusual that they could be speeding because the speed limits are set low. And if you're in a speed zone that's 25 or 30, and you're not thinking about your speed, you're just going from point A to point B, most of us could well be going faster than 30. Now, your speed was measured at 47 before the officer turned around to get behind you.
Allegedly.
Measured as you approach the officer.
He said he had it on radar, sir. He should be able to present that. I mean, he told me
That's not the way radar works.
He told me he clocked me visually.
He told you that he measured your speed with the radar because he observed you to be speeding. That's what motivated him to operate the radar, to use the radar device to measure the speed of your vehicle.
He told me he visually clocked me at 40. But it's okay.
That's not the same. You're taking things out of context. If an officer sees a vehicle approaching and thinks that it's going faster than the speed limit, they're trained. They can give a visual approximation that is going to be pretty darn close. Research indicates that the visual observation speed, not with a radar, but made by an officer, is going to be about 2 miles an hour slower than the car is actually going. But the point is, the officer thought you were speeding. He didn't cite you for what he thought you were going. He operated the radar so as to measure the speed, and he found that you're going 47. You've got a decent driving record, to say the least, and in the exercise of his discretion, he elected not to cite you for the full 3-point infraction, but he gave you a 1-point infraction. He knocked it down to a 1-point event. He's certified to operate radar. The radar unit was checked both before and after his shift. It worked at the start. It was still working at the end of his shift. It didn't break and fix itself some point in the middle. So there's no finding here that says that you were intentionally speeding, but I do believe you were going 47, and that means at least 35. So I do think you're responsible for 35 and 30. That is the speed limit there, 30 miles an hour.
Yes.
And the fine for that is $130. The $130 can be paid online or by mail, or you can pay it at the courthouse counter if you prefer.
Can I eliminate the points, Your Honor?
The points don't come from the court. They come from the Secretary of State. I can't change them.
And you say he checked his radar, not you, right?
Of course, I didn't check his radar.
Okay.
I don't know anything about radar.
He didn't have a radar, sir.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't use. He told me he did not use a radar. It was.
Oh, that's not what he said. He said he made a visual observation of the fact that you were speeding.
It was 2 cars. It was both of us. It was 2 cars.
That doesn't mean that either one wasn't speeding. If 2 cars are going the same speed, that means they're both going the same speed.
Yeah, so pull both of us over.
That's not practical.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand. I just know. You know what I really believe?
I don't think I want to hear.
He got a chance to judge, and that's all I can say.
As he's driving in the opposite direction from you, he has no idea as to how many people are in a car or what they look like.
No, when he turned
over.
Okay, so the first video, I think that mom was just making excuses for her creepy husband. I mean, I think she said, I trust him, I believe him, blah, blah, blah. But I bet she would have said the exact same thing about him before he did the Jeffrey Toobin thing in the parking lot in public. So I think she's just making excuses, maybe just trying to bury it under a rug. Who knows what he's doing because he's working out of town. But, you know, he takes care of her. She can be a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't have to do anything. So, works for her. That's a little weird. And then Judge Hayward, the one lady, she really seemed like a possible sovereign citizen. She gave me the sovereign citizen kind of vibe. You know, that's kind of what she gave me anyway. And then the one with Judge Braley, and now Judge Washington is going to have that young man in her courtroom, and I don't think she's going to put up with that kind of attitude. I really don't. I think she's going to say, you come to court. And then when he comes to court, he's going to get handcuffs. So he's going to get some bracelets put on. That's what I think. But we'll wait and see. They didn't give us a date, so I don't know what date to watch for him. I don't even know what he looks like because he was on the phone. And then the last guy with Judge Chisholm. Judge Chisholm is just a treasure, so I had to put one in with him. But I do know of someone who was driving next to a truck, and he was driving much faster than the truck, and the radar locked onto his vehicle, and the truck got the ticket. So, and the truck was not speeding, but my friend was, and my friend just drove away because the cop pulled over the truck. And he found out about it later because he was working in a warehouse, and the truck driver pulled up to the warehouse and was all upset because he had gotten a ticket because this guy was going too fast next to him, and it was him. So anyway, it can happen. I don't know if it did here, but it can. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Another time. I will see you another time.